Good morning, Huntington disease Todd. Hey, this is Sunday, an episode day that I was trying to get done on Saturday. And today's episode, or what I'm going to title this, is Why is it so hard to get things done when you have Huntington's disease? I've been thinking yesterday, I just couldn't pull it off. I tried my best to put together a video. And like so many things in life, I had other things on my mind that just clouded me out from the whole thing. I'm not going to do points today because I probably am not organized enough to do that. But I'm just going to say that the more this thing comes into your brain, the harder it is to just do just about anything. So, for example, today I came in here and I just went to set up this little video camera thing. And next to me is a tripod that holds my cell phone, and it just fell off the desk. It falls into a corner of an area that I can't get to. I'm reaching down there and I hit my head on the laptop. So that's just one example of the craziness that goes on. Now, a lot of people can say that you're clumsy and you can say that you have these missteps in your life. But just imagine that every time I go to do something, I create a misstep. So I do want to talk about a couple other things, though. This is my second year anniversary of Huntington's disease Todd on YouTube. So they sent me out a little thing and reminded me of some of the stats that we've had this year. And then I'll go on to the points, which are basically going to be, how hard it is to do things, everyday things that just everybody else takes for granted, and some of the foibles of all that. So what I had is 2 years. I've had 431,200 views. I think that's pretty cool. Now, I did accomplish a lot of those by doing short videos. Some were, off kilter to what Huntington's is about, but they were about my family and my grandson. My grandson always gets the highest views. One of his videos got 18,000 views as a short. Okay, I did 2,300 hours of videos. Now, I took a sabbatical in the middle of this whole thing, as everybody knows, or some people do. So that time period was a whole year that I could have created a lot more hours and content. And we have 1,386 subs. Yay! Celebrate, confetti. That's my 2 years at YouTube. Now, you have to remember, when I started my YouTube channel, I didn't even know how to operate. I had to set up the page, banner, content, who's supposed to see it, all those kinds of things. So what is so hard about having Huntington's disease? In the beginning, it's a little easier. I will say that. Now, maybe not for some people. I have a CAG of 41. Somebody might have a 42 or 43. Those can be dramatically different. But I do know this, that the part of Huntington's that is the most challenging could be earlier than that with the mental conditions that come on. But for example, I was going to try to help my dad on a home project that he had, and I was just going to be, a go-between between him and my son. My son and I were going to help him, do the labor, and he was going to supervise, and it was going to be all hunky-dory. Well, that only lasted for 6 days. Me and my son were working relatively well together, but my dad, well, we're trying to help him fix up a house that he just hates in all reality. So if you hate something, there's no sense trying to force the issue on him. So also, I was losing my cool. I was going over the top. He was going over the top. I think he's had some reaction to a medication he's been taking for his prostate, and I just overreact because that's where I'm at in life. So good story, bad story. I feel terrible about how things have been left, because now I just feel like I left a bad taste in his mouth. He thinks now that I'm just crazy Todd, and and I don't know how to do anything, and I'm incompetent. I think that's what he thinks. I was one of the most competent people at one point in my life. I helped him with all this, financial affairs. I helped him, get houses in order. I took a house from him one time. I totally rehabbed it and sold it. Those kind of things is what I could do. I had a hard time this time just even running the saw. Now, I didn't do a lot of the work. I just want to be honest with you. I can tear stuff up, and I did that pretty well. But even our ability to tear stuff up correctly was not right with my dad. Oh, I feel like I've burn a bridge there a little bit, but maybe over time it'll heal. The house is the house that's right behind his own personal home, so it'll always be a reminder. What happened was he's owned this home for a long time and has gone through a lot of disrepair type of things. And, he just has a lot of sour grapes about it because I think he knows of all the things he's covered up in all these years. And it's a wood frame home. It's in Florida, blah, blah, blah. Those kind of homes don't do great here. So through this all, I learned a very valuable lesson that, well, I don't know that I've really learned the lesson because, again, I don't have control over learning anything right now. I only have control over, well, I'd say I try to shut my mouth, but I don't have control over that. So I am just trying to say that through this all, with Huntington's disease, we can feel bad, we can feel sorry, we can feel angry, we can get mad. I can get mad as a doornail with him, and it just makes him more angry, my dad. And unfortunately, his reaction is that I should be able to control myself, or that I'm a smart A, and that kind of thing. So anyhow, a lot of things with life are hard, and I get that. As we all get older, we can't bend over as easy. It hurts our legs to crawl up and down. But I'm talking about mental anguish of my brain of trying to even figure out how to do things. Yesterday, I was going to put together a video. I was going to put it out on Saturday. I seem to get more views if I do it on Saturday. And then all of a sudden, everything in my brain was going nuts, thinking about how much of a disaster this has been. I wanted to work with him and my son. I wanted to spend this last, year, because I say this year for me could be a banner year in the fact that I'm trying to do things just knowing that my cognitive ability is getting more and more challenged. People that have Huntington's might understand that. And again, I want to remind everyone, if your loved one is in any way exhibiting anything that I am, you have to be patient with them because it's not something that we can control. It's not something that we want to do. It's not something that, I feel bad to some degree of how I acted with my father, but on the same token, he had my mom that he was taking care of her and she had Huntington's, and I feel like he should be a little bit more understanding. But again, I've talked about this. You can't hardly be understanding to anything about Huntington's because you have a normal brain. Your brain may, you may have anxiety issues. You may have, things that are, clouding you from things and that, but you don't have a brain that's deteriorating like ours. So for me to say, this is how I view things and this is how you view things, you're still going to view things the same way you do because you don't understand anything about the view of me. I'm trying to put these videos out so that people will understand that, us Huntington's people are doing the best we can. So it seems like any time that I try to, force a video, that's when I get challenged. And so yesterday I was up as early as always and I was doing things and I just couldn't get a video out. I think this is going to be episode 98. And again, I'm getting close to 100. I want to do the 100th episode in May, which will be Huntington's Disease Awareness Month. So something cool that happened the other day, some of you may have seen it. I got on an opportunity to be on Help for HD TV, Help for HD TV, which was kind of neat. I got, on Monday, I'm going to do an interview with Leah. She's the girl that put the video out for me on their channel. And then we're going to do a video on Monday. I think it'll air Friday, and it'll be a side-by-side video chat thing. So I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be something that she does, and you can look at some other examples if you want to on HD for HD for HD TV. I'm losing the name of it now, but you know what I mean. So we did that, and it was kind of neat. And Help for HD TV, and it's a hashtag on Facebook. That's where she's at. All of my stuff is, as you know, here on YouTube. So through it all, we've made it through 2 years. I'm excited about the stats that we have. I would have been more excited if back in the old days I had gone through more regular videos like these instead of doing some of those off-the-cuff things that just got, some of the subscribers that I have. I feel like I've probably lost a few subscribers that I had in the very beginning. I know that some are here still, but I'm doing all I can this year so that we can have more of a record of this thing and just tell you again what happens. So for me to get from, thinking about a project, helping do the project, being able to go through the steps, I'm losing all that. I could have done some of the stuff that I was working with on my dad before a lot better than I did this time. So this Huntington disease, Todd, I want to commit to making this videos again a little longer, but this one a little shorter but anyway, I wanted to say that through it all, Huntington's disease is a very big challenge. And we're doing all we can. This is my page about Huntington's disease. And if you haven't been here before, there's going to be a little doodad down here, my face, you can click on to become a subscriber, and a couple of videos here, or maybe one, that'll take you to some of my older historic videos, which again, they're very helpful for families. And I always tell you that I promote those because I want everyone to be aware that the things that I share are, information that most people, aren't doing. And the reason I started this channel 2 years ago, just buttoning that up, is because at that time there wasn't really any much content on the whole concept of Huntington's disease. It seems like when people would do content, it would go away and then it would kind of end. So Huntington's disease, Todd, I'm going to wrap it up under 12 minutes this time. So it'll be long enough, but not too long. All right. Have a good day and happy Sunday. This will be out in an hour or two, I hope. If the volume's been on. That's happened to me before. All right. Have a good day.